but the finances behind it so far are still a little untested. So we're not going to get overly excited, but yeah, there's another one forthcoming.
To follow up, when we try to order Avatar from Diamond, it's not always available.
Yep, and that's got very little to do with us.
Right, so is there any way we as a retailer can start to order straight from Avatar in the future?
Nope, we are Diamond exclusive. Diamond has gone through a rough patch where they set up a new state-of-the-art facility, which will be fantastic when it's all up and running. Getting it all up and running has been problematic for them. But Diamond has been a great partner. We support them 100%. And while it's really quite a pisser that our stuff is not out in stores as fast as we'd like sometimes, they'll get over it. And but all of our stuff, we do very aggressive overprinting. All of our trade paperbacks are in print, and we have huge overprints on them. In Freak Angels, we have like 12 or 13 pallets of extras that we've run that are in the warehouse that are ready to ship as soon as Diamond needs them. So it's not going to be a problem of our stuff not being in print. Regular issues we do large overprints on. We want to make stuff available for retailers to reorder. So as soon as Diamond finishes polishing up the new warehouse, all problems will be solved.
Last question.
Yeah.
Since you have so much foreign talent from all around the country or the world, how are you doing in the other parts of the world as a publisher?
Oh, as far as foreign licensing? As far as getting our books in other languages? We're starting to do some of that. We need to do a lot more. It's tricky because just like there's problems with the economy here, there's problems with the economy everywhere in the world. And so there aren't a lot of foreign publishers that are trying to pick up a lot of new stuff. When Avatar publishes it, I can control it, I control the business model. When I'm licensing to other publishers, basically I have to wait till they have the money. So there's not so much I can force that. We have such fantastic talent. I know eventually it's going to be, we'll have all the Warren Ellis and all the Alan Moore stuff, all over the world. It's just right now is not the best time for foreign publishers to be growing into anyone beyond Marvel and DC.
I have one more question. What do you think of Orlando?
We haven't got a chance to see much. We've basically been like hotel here. But, Florida's great. It's great weather.
I heard rumors that you may have seen a bar or two.
Yes, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, had some bars, and there's some shady nightlife. But
this side of Orlando is not Orlando. This is theme park heaven.
Yeah, so we haven't seen the real Orlando. So next time we're down here, you guys are taking us out for drinks. All right, was there any other questions or anything?
Yeah, I don't know that guy, but
yeah, he's busting my chops here, so.
I already knew we can't order direct from you, but what I want to know, with this forum tell retailers, think about how many Marvel and DC single issue comics you have on your shelf at the end of the cycle, and the graphic novel comes out, you still have that out, and it didn't sell. And think of how many Avatar books you have on your shelf. You're always complaining that you can't get reordered, you can't reorder. Order more. Just start ordering more Avatar because they sell. And break from that cycle of, well, we need to order at least 5 of this Marvel book if they put it out. Say, that doesn't look good. We'll order none and just order 5 more Avatar, and then they sell, and then you made money. So that's the advice I give this guy. So I'll talk to him later.
Yeah. And it's funny because since we're kind of in our hot phase right now, which is great, but I never hear retailers complaining that they have Avatar stuff sitting on their shelves. Everybody orders stuff, and it always sells out right away, which is great. I'm glad no one ever gets stuck with our books, but a slightly more aggressive posture would probably be good for everybody. Because comic retailers fundamentally are in the business of selling widgets, and if the widget isn't on the stands and there's demand for it, then everyone's losing out on money. So, I'd much rather be in the position we are now, where everything we do sells out, than be in the position of cranking out the 11th Batman spin-off Robin and somebody else book that no one cares about and will never sell. Hopefully the market will slowly correct itself, and our stuff will, our numbers continue to rise even in these tough times. Mission City preliminary numbers were fantastic. They were as good as Anna Mercury #1 numbers were a year ago. And Anna Mercury numbers were better than anything we did 3 3 years, before that. So we're on the right curve. Slow and steady wins the race.
This question is from Mr. Gage. You've written a lot of so-called mainstream stuff for Marvel. I think you might have written 1 or 2 titles for DC. In terms of writing for the big two and writing for Avatar, what would you say is the biggest plus and, if applicable, the biggest minus?
Well, I mean, I don't even know if I'd call it a minus. When you write for Marvel and DC, part of the fun is you're playing with toys that you grew up with, I mean, what other medium do you get to, if you grow up and become a screenwriter, which I also do, it's not like you get to write the next Star Wars movie in all likelihood, or the next Indiana Jones movie. But you can grow up reading Captain America and the Hulk and then write those characters. So that's what's great about it, working for those guys. At the same time, there are certain limitations. Obviously, when you're writing those characters, I think apart from Miracle Man, what Avatar does great when Warren does the superhero stuff is it shows how brutal it would really be if there were superhumans fighting each other in a world full of people who aren't superhumans. And the other thing about Absolution specifically is, like I said, these superhumans are part of the police department, and if you've ever been around cops, soldiers, anyone who does that sort of hard and very brave work, they tend to curse up a blue streak, and they often encounter some really horrifying things. And at Avatar, you don't have to pull any punches. I mean, I don't see any children in the audience, so I'm going to say, at Avatar, for instance, one of the characters that I came up with, I called her Alpha Bitch. It's like Alpha Dog, but she's a woman, so Alpha Bitch, and that's actually a term they use apparently in dog breeding and stuff. I just thought it was a great character name, and she's a tough chick who embraces the, guys started calling her that to bust her balls, and she liked it. She's like, yeah, that's what I am. I'm gonna kick your ass. And
last call for James Marsters autographs.
James Marsters is leaving the building.
Run.
Last call for James Marsters.
So you really, the great thing about working for Avatar is there are no restrictions whatsoever. You can really just pull out all the stops and do things that you couldn't do at Marvel or DC, and that in many cases, like, I wouldn't want to do this stuff to Daredevil. You know what I mean? It would just be wrong.
Oh, no, we want to see you do it to Daredevil.
Yes,
but,
no. It would. So I mean, that's what I love. I love being able to stretch creative muscles by 1 week working on Avengers: The Initiative, and next week working on Absolution, the next week working on G.I. Joe, Cobra. It's great. I mean, as a writer, I think it really helps me stay, limber, as it were.
Anything else? Are we good? All right, well, I want to thank you guys for coming out and supporting us. And I want to thank all my talent for coming out from all over the world. It's great to have you guys here. So, thanks, folks.
Thank you.